Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to show you an amazing, quick and easy little frame. And I'm going to frame this beautiful, realistic dog. This looks just like a friend of mine's dog. And the dog recently passed away. So I wanted to make a little keepsake for her. And I was stunned that this stamp looks so much like her. So I'll just stamp this quickly in black ink, alcohol friendly. You'll want it to be alcohol friendly, and I have it secured in my MISTI with a sticky mat. That's just the easiest. I'm just lazy. It's easy, so that's what I do. So I will color this. I was heat drying it. I do have to heat dry alcohol friendly ink. In my climate, you might as well. So if you see an ink smudging when you're coloring it with alcohol markers and it's an alcohol-friendly ink, it may just be your humidity level, so don't give up on your ink. Just use your heat gun. Now, I'm taking a small panel that I've measured. I'm going to give you all of the measurements on my blog of how to create this frame and how to create the panel inside the frame. It's kind of it's a lot of numbers to give here in this quick video, so just check out my link to my blog in the description, and you'll have all of the instructions for what size to cut your panel. And this frame can be any size. The way I'm going to give you the measurements, you can make it any size you want. So I've ink blended a little outdoor scene for this puppy, and I just kind of put the dye on the panel to gauge where I wanted the grass and the sky. So I just quickly ink blended that. Those are Gina K Designs inks, and that's before I color this. And this is going to be very simple because this friend's dog is mostly white, which is some really pretty kind of unusual brown markings in sort of like a classic hound dog sort of marking. She really looks like a little bird dog. I'm not sure what kind of dog she is, but she has some kind of bird dog markings. So I'll accent she has two little stripes on her forehead. She has a darker spot on her back, and then she has these little spots all over her that they were kind of a neutral brown, so I picked kind of like a coffee colored marker, and I'm going to use a couple different colors, some lighter and darker browns, as she seemed to have both kinds of spots. This is a beautifully detailed image, and it's one of several in the stamp set that I think you'll just love. If you're a dog lover, I'm saving the cat stamps that accompany this set for another video in a few weeks. So I'm adding to the shading with that kind of medium marker, the natural shading that's etched on the stamp image itself. And this is kind of like a classic etching style image. And then I'm going to add some of these lighter and darker spots around her. And you can see, isn't she cute? She's so cute. So then I'll cut her out and I'll put her on the panel. But let me show you the box because this is just amazing. So I have already scored lines at 1 centimeter out on a panel that I'm going to give you the measurements to. And they're all the way around these 4 tabs. I cut out the corners. And there's one last thing you need to do to make this frame. And you're just going to freak out when you see how easy this is. You need one additional 1 centimeter line. The MISTI ruler has both inches and centimeters, so it makes this super duper easy for me to do. Plus, it's a T ruler, so I can bump it up against the edge of the cardstock, and I know that my line will be straight. T rulers always drove me crazy because they were far too big. And they also sometimes have the little round cutout in the middle of the T, so they weren't ideal for paper crafting. So I really love this one. So I'm making 2, after I do the 1 centimeter lines on these little scored flaps that I have, I'm making 2 diagonal lines in the square that's created with the 1 centimeter line that I created and the score lines that I've already scored. Now, if you have a scoring tool that has both centimeters and inches, that's going to be really useful for this project. I do not, so I just drew the lines before scoring them. It works great. I am not a 3D person at all. This is the easiest, most perfect 3D project I think I've ever made. So it's very easy, and I'm also going to link on my blog to where I found this. I found it on Instagram. But then she actually has a YouTube short, which I'll link you to, that goes through very quickly her making this frame. And it's just, she has such a cute channel with so many DIYs. So look for a link to that on my blog. I'll see if I can link it in the video. I'm not sure that I can, but I'll see if I can. So then you just cut on those 2 diagonal lines and you cut across where they come in to form these little shapes on the long ends, on the flaps, on the long side of this frame, soon to be frame. Then I'm just going to crease all of the lines with a bone folder. So you'll just want to, I kind of like these silicone ones that have a really sharp edge to them. That really helps with projects like this. But you'll want to score every single line. And you can do it backwards or forwards. It doesn't really matter. You will be folding these in to form the frame. So for me, it was just easier to make the score lines that way. But even if you scored them twice, once forwards and once backwards, it would just make the paper that much easier to manipulate. I'm using this really silky, velvety, black, very, very black cardstock that has like a suede feel to it. And so you could definitely, if you're using kind of a thicker cardstock like this, you could definitely score them twice and it would be no problem. So now you want to get some liquid glue. This part's really important. And you'll want to put a line of glue just inside of the score line, the last score line towards the center of the panel, the back panel that isn't scored. So I left my cap off my glue and my glue press is in the other room, so you can see I'm struggling. I'm better with my glue press. So now take 2 sides and roll them down towards each other, and you'll see that the straight edge that didn't have that little tab cut into it just inserts so easily into the side that had the little notch cut out of it. So you just go around and put that in to the cut notch side, and it makes the most perfect 3D frame in like 2 seconds. It's unbelievable. And usually when I do projects like this, they don't line up, like there's something wrong, and that is not the case here. This is so freaking easy. It's unbelievable. Now, if your glue line wasn't far enough over, so you can see one of my edges isn't pushed all the way in, it's not sticking there, that's because my glue was freaking out because I left the lid off of it. So I'll show you a little trick for how to fix that and make it truly perfect like it's designed to be, so you can see that it goes together perfectly well. So what I do is just get a pin and I put a little bit of glue on the pin and then add it to that top section, and the frame is absolutely perfect. So anywhere you have a little gap because your glue, this is why it's important to use the glue press. If you left the cap off your glue and your glue wasn't coming out at the corners, then just add a little bit of glue here, hold it together, and your frame is going to be completely perfect. I can't get over how easy this is. So then you just insert your panel with your little scene into it, and this will be a nice little keepsake for someone's desk or for you to remind yourself of a pet. Head over to my blog for the measurements and more information, and thanks so much for watching.